Hello, PCA fans. It is AAPI Heritage Month, and at the end of the month, we also have QTAPI Week, Queer and Transgender Asian Pacific Islander Week, which started here in San Francisco in 2021. So here with PCA today, I have author and Bay Area buddy Joanna Ho, pronouns she, her. Joanna and I have tons in common. We both have two young children. We both work with children. Joanna is a vice principal, correct?
I was.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your current title?
I work almost full time as an author now.
Well, that's where I was headed. So I was a vice principal. I was and am still a speech therapist for kids. And we both, this is a surprise to our PCA audience, we both cheered together 20 years ago at the University of Pennsylvania. Another thing in common, is my husband, who also cheered with us, has always had a bit of a crush on you, but I'm sure you knew that. It was plainly obvious. So Joe is the author of children's books with themes around equity, inclusion, diversity, visibility, racism, classism, only the lightest of topics. Eyes That Kiss in the Corners was her first, and we definitely see this book all the time in libraries, bookstores, at our kids' scholastic book fair today. They are already sold out, and it's day one of their book fair. So what our family, love about your book is just how natural and genuine it is for us to read. So can you share a little bit about yourself and the pieces of your identity that went into this book?
Sure. Okay, but before we do that, first I have to clarify, you were the legit cheerleader, and I was like the peon on the side who was like didn't have any idea what I was doing. Let's just be very clear about that. Okay, we'll just make that note first.
Well, thanks. I'm going to insert some video clips. So
Oh my gosh. I'm really the person on the side, like, I've never cheered before in my life.
Hi, I'm Allison, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Greg, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Masani, I'm a Penn cheerleader.
I'm Holly, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Joanna, but everyone calls me Jo, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm John, I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hello, everyone. My name's Kara, I'm a Penn cheerleader.
My name's Cassandra Gibbs, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Liz, and I'm a Penn cheerleader. I'm Mary, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
My name is Melissa, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Patty, and I'm a Penn cheerleader. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Ty, and I'm a Penn cheerleader.
Y'all ready for this?
Anyways, just to make sure we all know what's really going on here. My books, let's see, I actually, like, when we were in college and all growing up, I didn't know that I wanted to be an author. That came after I had my first child, who is 8. And I have, though, always been really passionate about equity and anti-racism, and that's why I became an educator. And when I started to look for books for my son after he was born, I started to realize what a huge dearth of inclusive books there were for children. If you look at the statistics, like in 2018, and it's not super different now, it's like 50% of children's books, that's board books all the way up to young adult novels, were about white kids. 27% were about animals. And then all the rest of the people of the global majority is less, combined is less than the number of books about animals. So it was super hard for me to find books with Asian kids for my children. And I had this moment that was like, well, you stop complaining, you should just try writing them. So that's really how I started becoming an author. But because these are topics that I'm really passionate about and have been since high school, that writing has sort of become a way for me to say things about the world or push for change in the world that I hope to see happen. And in terms of my identity, I think a lot of my characters are Asian. All my books aren't really focused on Asian culture or history. A lot of them are right now. I think I sort of have heard, as an author, especially as an author of color, you sort of get those books out of your system, everybody sort of, and then you sort of branch out and you explore so many other parts of your identity. But because I started, because of the invisibility and the erasure of Asian stories, that has tended to be one focus of my writing.
That's awesome. You think you know someone for 20 years and then you talk to them again and learn so much more. So PCA, wearing the shirt. PCA is bringing you here today and sharing this today because we know how important it is to reach our community's youth in relatable ways. Several of our PCA member teams across the country do events in schools now. So they perform for elementary school assemblies. They empower the children to embrace their differences and cheer for them to use their voices. They teach them about allyship in words they can understand and repeat and cheer back. And one of our member teams, I have to plug this, Cheer Salt Lake has a trans kids book campaign. So what they're doing is they're determined to hit all public libraries in the state of Utah with a gift of 3 books to improve access to stories and characters of transgender experience. So they're sending I Am Jazz, Calvin, and From the Stars in the Sky to the Fish in the Sea. So text CSL to 44321 to donate. So $20 buys a book, $10 helps with shipping. But I had to plug that campaign.
Awesome.
But to you, in your words as a parent, a developmentalist, why is it developmentally appropriate and critical to introduce these themes to children as young as elementary school?
Yeah, I mean, the reality is we deal with whether it's gender or sexuality or race or, whatever, all kinds of things. Those are things we deal with since we're infants. Those are things we learn. Those are things we internalize, the messages from our parents or from society or all of these things. So to think that we can protect our kids from the difficult things in the world that really is a mark of privilege of people who don't ever have to think of these things. So I think it's actually not just appropriate, it's necessary that we introduce topics like transgender or queer or LGBTQIA books and realities and stories, or books about race or history. All of the things. In really young ages, kids know. That's in my experience, and maybe yours too, Sarah, kids are aware and they see things and they experience things, whether it's at school, for me, like kids pulling up their eyes or saying ching chong, wing wong. That stuff happens as an adult too. It's stuff like that, or whether it's subtle, like everyone looks at you because your lunch is different than theirs. It could just be people talking really loud and slow to your parents, things like that you see. But if you don't read and you don't talk about these experiences, then these are things I think that you internalize. Oh, there's something wrong with me, or oh, I'm not normal, or you could run the gamut of all of those things. And they don't know the tools unless we teach them tools of dialogue and asking questions and creating safe spaces. And so, I think young people are so much more naturally empathetic, and they are naturally prone to wanting to seek justice in the world. And so when they find out someone's been bullied or they've been hurt, their natural instinct is to be like, that's messed up. We need to stop that. And so I feel like both on the side of providing and teaching tools to young people to be able to navigate the world that they live in, plus giving them tools and helping them understand their power for creating change in the world, that happens. That can start happening and should start happening at young ages.
That is so, when you're saying these words, I'm just imagining my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old and friends who I work with through PCA who are 18 to 50, just examining the ways that people rally for justice. They're all different, but they're also natural and just rooted in who you are and what conversations you've had and what opportunities you've had to ask questions.
Exactly.
So I know we're going to get all sorts of different reactions to this. I'm imagining smiley and frowny faces from different parts of our network, but I know the whole country's listening. And I hope that this is a great opportunity to hear us talk about this, but I also, I know how selfless and humble you are. I also want to turn this to allow you to have a little humble brag here. So the whole country's listening. Please go ahead, spotlight yourself, promote your books, the ones you've already published and the ones on the horizon. Go for it. The megaphone is yours.
Ready? Hold on. I don't know if you're cutting this, but I was not prepared for that question. I will pull out some examples of books. Okay, hold on. I will do this really quickly. Luckily, they're all right behind me. Okay, are we ready?
We're totally ready.
Okay, I am the author of several books for kids. So
We'll
these
have the
are-
titles scrolling along the bottom.
Ready? So this is the first book that came out 2 years ago. Isaac Kiss in the Corners, Eyes That Speak to the Stars. They both speak to the experience of young people looking in a world where I think the narrative of beauty is about round, big blue eyes and long lashes, and then recognizing their own beauty through the relationships they have with their family members. This is my most recent book. It just came out in last March, and it's really like a mother's ode of love and dreams and hopes for her baby boy, but with a real theme of positive masculinity. This one is about Yo-Yo Ma playing at the border between Mexico and Texas, really sending a message of building bridges and not walls. And then this one is my first young adult novel. It was the winner of the Asian Pacific American Library Association literature honor. And it really talks a lot about mental health. It examines suicide, and then a lot about just like rising up and using our voices to speak out against racism. So the story is that a teenager, her brother dies by suicide, and the community turns against her, saying it's the Asian culture that has driven him to his death. And so she, along with her Haitian best friend, really learn how to, find their voices and use them to speak out with consequences that are both expected and unexpected. This fall, I have so many. Like this fall, I have a couple of books out. I have a couple that I'll plug are Say My Name is just a book that follows 6 children of different backgrounds and the importance and the stories behind their names and the importance of saying them correctly. The Third Eyes book is coming out in January. That follows a Korean transnational, transracial adoptee adopted into a white family. That was written with Liz Kleinrock. There's so many. If you want to learn more, you can check out my website. Well, I'm just super grateful to be able to be telling stories and grateful for readers for finding them.
Do you know Liz Kleinrock?
We do now. Yeah.
PCA just attended her anti-bias, anti-racism workshop. I just before we were calling, I was like finishing some images to post that as well.
Oh, no way.
I love how these things tie together.
Yeah, no, we've definitely become friends. We connected on social media. I knew I wanted her. So we were already friendly, and then we wrote the book together, and we're for sure. We'll like hang out. We have dinner when we see each other when we're in town. Yeah.
This is incredible. I'm so glad our worlds continue to connect.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. You're probably busy writing thousands of books and reaching thousands of youthful, spongy minds ready to amplify your message.
Just like you are in your own way too. I'm great. It's so appreciative. I think one thing I'll say about cheer is it's one of those things where I think people, they have a particular perspective of what it means to cheer. And in my experience, which is very limited, let's be very clear, I'm no professional.
It's not done though.
But there is so much power and strength and like athleticism that people never focus on. I think partially because it's such a female dominated sport, but it isn't entirely. But it's just such an example of ways that narratives need to change, because you want to talk about like real athletes, let's talk about cheerleaders and all the like intense things they do with their bodies and like the ways that they find can build community. I mean, I just think it's such a beautiful thing that people don't understand.
And there will always be a little bit of mystery to it, and that's behind the smile what's actually going on.
It's true.
But thanks for bringing that up too. We're gonna in all ways that we can, we will cheer and we will lead.
Yes.
So support and continue to amplify and create visibility in these platforms for change. So I hope to see you in person sometime soon. We just realized how close we live to one another. I hope you come to my elementary school and promote your book. Yes. I hope we show up at your kids' elementary school with a Cheer SF allyship presentation.
And so amazing.
We should just be up in a stunt together soon.
Okay, well, I don't know about that one, but all the other ones, yes.
I have an extra pair of shoes. I probably have your shoe size in the closet. We'll make it happen. All right. This was
Okay,
so
thank
great, Joe.
you.
So thank you so much. Go Penn
Yeah.
and have
Okay,
a
great.
meaningful AAPI month.
Okay, thanks. You
Thanks. We'll
too.
talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.